Hi, I'm Dr. Cynthia Thaik. I'm a Harvard-trained cardiologist, and I've been practicing cardiology for over 20 years. What I've come to find in my career is that I've gotten really good at diagnosing heart disease or treating people's high blood pressure or diabetes. But, unless I'm able to inspire patients, unless I'm able to get them to become more aware and more mindful about their actions, that I don't really make incredible changes. Okay? Because what I come to recognize is that it is the patient who has the true power and the potential for healing. And it was only when I got reconnected back to my Eastern roots, to get back to my meditative practice, to start turning back to my Buddhist habits of practicing mindfulness, that I was able to get patients to recognize and realize that that's how they're going to find their path to healing. To have true health, you really need to be able to connect, to have that mind-body connection, to find that inner peace, that inner guide. And it's through that sense of serenity and peace that people are going to get back to health. Only the patient has the ability to heal that, to walk away from that. And I'm just so passionate about putting the power of healing back in the hands of the patients, for them to recognize that they have that potency, that they have that potential for healing. It's important for patients to know the statistics, to know the numbers, to recognize that heart disease is the leading killer among both men and women. There are 600,000 deaths each year. 1 in 4 will die of heart disease. And since 1984, more women have died from heart disease than men. And that's a statistic that's not well known. Heart disease is still considered a disease for men. More women are afraid of breast cancer than of heart disease, and yet 1 in 30 women will die of breast cancer. 1 in 4 will die of heart disease. Now that statistic is astronomical. I tell patients that every thought, every emotion leads to an instantaneous cascade of hundreds, if not thousands, of neurotransmitters, of cytokines and inflammatory markers that actually does cellularize within the body. And so a lot of times patients have this notion, oh, you're telling me it's in my head. And I don't believe that. I don't think that anything is really just truly in their head. They might have that thought in their head, but then that leads to physical changes within the body that does cause physical symptoms. But you have to understand and recognize that it starts with a thought. And so if you can learn how to control that thought, if you can learn how to take a thought, notice it, and notice whether it serves you or not, and if it doesn't, how to switch it. Okay? And so many patients struggle with that. They tell me, oh, I can't chase this negative thought out of my head. And I tell them, it's a choice. You make that choice. No one gets to choose your thoughts other than you. No one gets to choose your emotions other than you. No one gets to choose your actions other than you. And it's really through those 3 things, through how we think, how we feel, how we act, that we can create the world that we want for ourselves. So I'm really super passionate about this. And for me, while it's important, and I teach my patients about all the statistics about heart disease, I don't want patients to run from heart disease. I don't want them to be fearful of heart disease. I want them to run towards the light, to move towards a light. What I want them to move through is to your vibrant heart, to vibrancy, to energy and spirit and love and laughter and joy. Okay, because that is really what life is about. Life is a gift, and the heart is at the center of that gift. It's at the core of that gift. For me, this is what I'm about. This is what I'm truly passionate about, what I want to share with my readers, with my patients. That it's important for them to understand the risks about heart disease. But see, I don't want them to be scared of it. I don't want them to be running away from heart disease. I want them to be walking or running towards a light. I want them to recognize and realize that life is a gift, and the heart is at the center of that gift. The heart is so life-giving. The heart is so loving. And it's so important that patients recognize and realize that you don't want just a physically healthy heart. You want a vibrant heart. You want to live from vibrancy, from vitality, from energy, from spirit. You want to have love and joy and laughter and gratitude in your life. And when you do that, peace and serenity will come. And it's really also important that people live with vision, that they have a vision for their life. It's so important to have and this is what I teach, that it's so important to have a whole life approach to health. You can't focus on one sector. You can't say, I want health, but my life, otherwise, my relationship or something at work is falling apart. It's important that your whole life is balanced, that your relationship, your vocation, how you relate to money, your finances, and your health, the peace, that is all, the whole piece is there. Because it's from having balance and centeredness in your life, when all the pieces fit together, that you'll have that inner peace. And it's through inner peace that you get health, that you get happiness, you get peace, you get vibrancy. And that's what I want people to move towards. The heart is this amazing organ. Okay, and I don't know if you recognize that it is made up of millions of cells. And each individual cell has a life of its own. But they interact, they intersect, they work in the syncytium. And it's through that interconnectivity, and almost represents our world, right? The interconnectivity of people in our world. That we are all energetic beings, just as each of those cells within this heart is a isolated individual, but it works in syncytium. And we as an individual work in energy, in this energy field of life. And my goodness, if I can move people to that, if I can move people to this higher plane of life, to really appreciate and value, to really want to get to that state of vibrancy. It isn't good enough to just be free of disease. It isn't good enough to just have a physically healthy heart. There is a higher plane to get to, a higher energetic plane. So you want to know what's the difference between just having a physically healthy heart and a spiritually vibrant heart? I'll tell you, it's having peace, being free of anxiety and fear. It's having serenity, that inner peace, that state of calm. It's living from a vision and having purpose in life. And when you have those formulas, when you have those four things, you have the magic sauce, the formula to having a vibrant heart and a vibrant life. And that's what I so want for everybody.